Kids, you're both just awful.
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. The first time I heard about the show Adolescence wasn't due to a Netflix notification, a friend's recommendation, or even a review. I heard about it because people were arguing about it online in the most annoying fashion possible. Now, this isn't exactly new. Watching people get upset, whether it be fake or not, is kind of the point of social media. You can't hold any sort of opinion without someone wishing something terrible happening to you. In fact, I got hilarious death threats for asking why the main character of Owl House, of all things, assaulted innocent people with snakes and spiders. But there was something about the discussion around Adolescence that drew my attention more than the other dumpster fires. The name Andrew Tate came up a lot, and boy, is that a person who I hold great contempt for. Not a lot of online personas out there that actually make me sad or angry. Even the scammers and the grifters don't really get under my skin like he does, because he's knowingly and actively working to make the world a worse place in every possible way for everyone. It's not about the money for him, he wants to watch the world burn.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So I went into Adolescence wondering what the big deal was, and I was surprised to find one of the most interesting shows that I've ever seen. The ambition and artistry on display is as clear as day. Just the idea of making multiple episodes which follow one continuous shot is mind-blowing. The amount of organization needed to make that work is almost impossible. Getting everyone, especially young actors, to get their cues right and timing perfectly is insane. Having no production flaws with lighting, cinematography, or audio is also mind-blowing. Hell, most writers would struggle to make a coherent story where everything happened continuously with no breaks and no awkward transitions.
Wow, you make history come alive.
The subject matter, themes, and story resonate with a lot of modern problems as well. Adolescence follows a story of an investigation involving the murder of a young girl and the circumstances leading up to that tragic event. And spoiler alert, if you somehow haven't figured it out and haven't heard, the 13-year-old boy did in fact do it. Why? Because he has been indoctrinated by online red pill culture, which is a complete pile of useless garbage and should be mocked at every possible turn.
This is worthless.
It's less than worthless, my boy.
And my god, did they find the most innocent looking, wide-eyed 13-year-old possible for this role. Maybe a little too so. That kid didn't look like he had enough testosterone in his body to do anything other than scream with a cracking voice. And based on some loose research that I did, the closest possible real-life story to this involves a 17-year-old who stabbed a girl over a teddy bear. But that guy looked like puberty put him through the ringer. So that might be my only real criticism. The age isn't very realistic. Maybe find someone with a pimply face who's growing like a weed at the very least.
Does that make sense? Ladies and gentlemen, I am not making any sense. None of this makes sense.
But here's the thing, this is a story. It doesn't have to be completely realistic. Plus, there are outliers out there in the real world, and the innocent appearance is supposed to make the violence as shocking as possible. So it's really not a flaw, and I really don't have a single criticism for the show. As a story, as fiction, as a series, as art, it's an achievement that might not be topped for a long while. This is going to be a bar that I'm going to compare other shows to for the raw ambition alone, let alone the perfect execution.
Oh my god. I get it.
But why did I exactly wait to talk about it? Normally, I drop everything to talk about something that I really love, like The Glory, The Edge of Sleep, or Look Back. Stuff that I want people to acknowledge. Special pieces of entertainment and art that I don't want to be overlooked. And Adolescence is special beyond words. The problem is where fiction meets reality, which is always the most interesting aspect of every single story, and it's not the behind-the-scenes making of the show. No, it was the public's panicked reaction to all of this. And at first, I was very pleased with the fact that this resonated with so many different people. There are, in fact, misogynistic morons on the internet speaking to young men and filling their heads full of crap. It's ruining these kids' attitudes, diluting their perspectives, and crushing their relationships along with their futures. Nothing good comes from it. So I was glad people were actually thinking about what kids are watching on their phones and tablets. But there's a difference between taking an interest in the kids and making sure that they're not filled with brain rot and punishing them relentlessly for something that isn't their fault and they might not even be doing.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
There was talk about actual policy change in the UK because of this show, and discussions about making it mandatory viewing in schools for young kids, which is a terrible idea. There is nothing about Adolescence which is meant for children. It's a heavy, methodical drama with intense language and violence. Oh man, if only there was a way for people to know that something isn't suitable for a young audience. If only there was a method of informing people that a piece of entertainment is only meant for adults. Oh, if only.
Because when I need a job done, I get someone with a job to do that job.
What are you saying?
No, the show is obviously meant for the parents and the teachers. It's about how the adults shouldn't let kids have unfiltered access to the internet, and that their situations at school should be monitored. It's almost as if tragedy can be avoided if adults talk to children, listen to their problems, and pay attention. All this isn't to say that the people who review bombed the show were any smarter. They treated Adolescence as though it was a call to personally castrate them.
Hold still! Track! Hold still! Ooh! Did I miss?
No. You got them.
Some idiots out there were acting like this was a call to arms, like the show was saying that all men are evil. No, in fact, it's the exact opposite. It's saying that a select group of idiots online have access to your children's brains and you need to stop it. Also, we need to make sure that there isn't online harassment because it never ends well. This isn't all that complicated.
Did you ever notice that? How many really stupid people you run into during the day?
Thus, the screaming started between the different sides, and I lost all interest in talking about the show. It wasn't just online either. Like I said, there were actual real-life calls to make new policies based on the show. Basically, warn girls and chastise boys in school, which I don't know might be a thing that parents should be responsible for at home, and unless they're planning on giving boys a positive role model to follow instead of browbeating them for something they didn't even do or even thought about, it won't have a good reaction on rebellious teenagers.
Oh, but remember, Daddy wanted to talk to you in the living room, my dark little princess.
Stop calling me a princess. I'm not a beauty queen in a Disney movie.
And I suppose that leads to another possible flaw in the show. It kind of reads as a middle-aged person's take on how young people act and talk, which is kind of inevitable in this sort of thing. I'm only a decade out of high school, and I have no idea what they're saying anymore. Their terms are so far out there that I feel like I'm 50 sometimes. But I'm not sure if 13-year-olds call each other incels. It sounds more like what people on the internet think that teenagers say, because, and here's a secret for you, every single 13-year-old boy is involuntarily a celibate. It is all that they think about and want, and they're obviously not going to be getting it anytime soon.
Hey, future baby. We're from like a bygone era.
We would like to score with you in the future.
But as always, the dust eventually settled. The panic and outrage faded. people grew bored and disinterested with the topic, so it's basically been dropped, which, yay, fantastic. A piece of art beautifully made and had a real message became a casualty of people's boredom. And as everyone starts to forget it, I look back at it, battered and beaten on the ground, and I can't help but feel sad. Sometimes there's a piece of entertainment out there that people just miss the point of because they have to feel morally better than everyone else.
I need you to tell me that I'm a good person. I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and self-destructive, but underneath all that, deep down, I'm a good person.
It happened with the original Joker movie. People freaked out about it, calling it an incel movie. It felt as though they were trying to wish violence into existence because of it, and Adolescence went the same way. A terrific message and story about adults paying attention to a problem too late has been turned into a reason for people to yell at each other, and then completely forgotten. No lessons learned, nothing gained, people don't become better, only a beautiful piece of art tarnished forever. And now parents and teachers can go back to ignoring their kids, just like how everyone continued treating each other like trash after the Joker.
Bad news.
What?
The Dacia Sandero. It's delayed.
Oh no. Anyway, last week...
If anyone asked me if I thought that they should watch Adolescence, I would give them a definitive yes. The art and storytelling speak for themselves. It's nearly flawless, with the only real possible problem being an adult's biased perspective on what kids say and do.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
Not that my recommendation matters now. The dust has settled, its place in history is set, and I honestly think the show has been mistreated and misread. It shouldn't be shown to kids. It shouldn't be taken as a personal attack. It was only trying to help, but the message fell on deaf ears. But what did you think? Did you like Adolescence as much as I did? Do you think it was bad? What do you think about the messaging and the reaction to all of it? Please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And remember, if you disagree with everything I have to say, that is perfectly fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Thank you all so much for watching.
You're still here?
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. You bye. Boom.
Do not despair.